G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the east side of the map, we've got Lash, who is going to be playing the Delhi Sultanate for us today. No silly shenanigans, just going to be opening up with a single scout at this point in time. Dropping down his mosque, going for an early lumber camp, an early mill, and going to be looking to take advantage of those berry spawns. On the other side of the map, though, we have got his opponent spawning in, playing the color blue on the Civilization Holy Roman Empire. It is Beastie QT, the one and only. Now, fellas, before we get into this game, before we begin talking about what is happening, you know that I'm going to mention it. I got to mention it. I mention it every single time. We've got N4C coming up. Beastie QT currently in preparation for it right now. That's where this game is coming from. Now, if you are watching this on YouTube, keep in mind, N4C going to be well and truly underway at this point. Beastie QT may have made it through to the finals already. He may have been knocked out already. He might not even be playing yet, because it could take some time before we get off our butts and start casting some games. But I want you guys, make sure you go and check out N4C. I'm going to leave a link in the description. You guys will be able to spot it out there. But let's talk a little bit about this game, about what we're going to witness happen here. So there's two factors that are going to determine this game. Number one, sacred sites, these bad boys up here, and number two, it's going to be relics. 1, 2, 3, or 4, and 5. Okay, so let's do a quick relic assessment. You've got 1, you've got 2 for Beastie. That's pretty much it. When it comes to the relics, Beastie not looking pretty. I mean, he's going to have to steal at least one of these relics and try and get it towards his base. It's going to be very hard for him to do that. And one of the things I often mention about when you're playing as the Holy Roman Empire, that is essentially your game. That is your goal plan. That is the whole way that your civilization plays out, at least at the moment. Because when you talk about a civilization, especially an asymmetric civilization, you want to play to your strengths. You want to play to the best thing that you've got available to you. And for Beastie, that is age 3, getting that Regnitz Cathedral, getting those 3 relics in it, and that is also age 4, getting that Palace of Swabia up and getting it out. So we'll see if he's going to be able to pick up those 3 relics. If he can get away with 2, I'm sure he's going to be happy with that. But ideally, he's really going to be wanting to get 3 in the bag. But obviously, I do suspect that we're going to have some cheeky shenanigans coming out with Lash today. He knows that he's going to be going up against Beastie, one of the highest rated players on the ladder at the moment. You can see in the top right-hand corner of your screen, Beastie currently sitting at rank 5, Lash sitting at rank 150, but don't count him out. Lash is a pretty strong guy. We did actually see earlier in the day Lash going up against Beastie, and he held on pretty well. He did all right going up against the English, but unfortunately did have to tap out in the end. But now it looks like Lash going to be focusing a little bit more on the technology he's got back here. So we've got wheelbarrow, we've got forestry coming in, we've now got herbal medicine coming already with that efficient production. No specialized pick yet because he's not quite in the second age, but he'll be looking to age up very, very shortly. And slowly but steadily scouting out the rest of the map. Lash already with 9 sheep behind us here, and or behind Beastie. And now Beastie going to be going down with the Arkan Chapel. Beautiful Arkan Chapel here. You can see just getting... Oh, God. Oh, he's close, isn't he? He's very, very close. I mean, he's trying. You can see what he's trying to do. Now, one of the things about this... Now, this is quite an interesting mechanic. He could look to place a mill right here and subsequently push in all the deer. So you see all these deer that are out here and push them in towards that mill. So we'll see if he does that. I'm sure he probably will. Beastie's one of the better players. But let's take a look at how the map is spawned. Obviously, we talked about the relics. We talked about the sacred sites. And we can obviously see that the relic spawn has been very, very good over for our Delhi player. But let's have a look at just the general spawn, the lay of the land, what we've got here. So it does look like there is going to be a bit of a break down here on the mini-map that has formed. Let me get out of my pencil. There we go. And you can see there's a little bit of a mountain range with a bit on top, but I don't think players are going to be too fussed about that. On the other side, of course, we've got this nice little break that has happened. So players going to have access to come through here and look to get onto the extremities of the map. Now, one of the things to note is it does look like there's been a bit of forest spawns here. So we've got the 2 forests for Beastie that have spawned. Over on his opponent's side, Lash, he's got the 1 forest behind him. He's also got this 1 forest that's kind of missing half of its trees. I don't know, I kind of feel like it's missing a few trees. And then he's got a bit of a forest up here as well. But other than that, you can see that there's a little bit out here as well. So 83 trees in the middle. A little, to be honest, a little bit favored towards Lash again. But that typically comes out just to the lay of the land here. And you can see there's a very interesting opening that sort of happened. If we take a look on the mini mini-map, the ways that players are going to be able to access each other's bases. You've certainly got the first way that they're able to do it. That's through this position. Then you've got this one on the sacred site as well. And then up towards this area as well, they're going to be able to get through in on that position. So 3 main ways that players are going to be looking to do it. Now, Lash probably going to be looking to come out onto the map, look to try and obtain those 3 sacred sites. We can already see he's going to begin researching Sanctity. We see it now. Already has Herbal Medicine in, so not going to be going for Piety, which is normally what we see. It's going to be stable archery range coming down for Lash, so we don't actually see the double infantry opening like most civs play it, or like most Delhi players play it. Now, Beastie's scout probably has scouted this, but you guys know, bugged at the moment, so it means we're not going to be able to access that. Archon Chapel is up for Beastie and already got farms going down for Beastie. What is going on in the base of Beastie? This is very interesting. I'm so curious to see why we've got this. Beastie going to be researching Wheelbarrow. You can see that his villagers here actually doing a pretty decent job of keeping the deer close, but still both of these, it's a bit frustrating, but I understand how why he's done it. So he's got like the 1 mill on the edge here, which is only going to sort of cover half of these villages, and at the same time his gold mine down here not really going to get covered. I mean, it's barely going to get covered, yeah, the wood line is going to be more than truly covered. Obviously the town center as well. Double stable coming out from Beastie. He's going to be looking to go into horsemen at this point in time. Still got that single scout out of the map, going to be looking to try and come around the sides. Wheelbarrow is up and ready for him. So double horseman out on the map. Now this is scouted out by Lash. Now keep in mind, behind this, Lash has gone for stable and archery range. No barracks whatsoever. And so that means that he's got no units to counter what is being thrown at him. And so this is part of the reason why it's so important as a Delhi player you're making that infantry, because it's very common people are going to be going against you and playing cavalry. And if they do that, you're going to want to have those spears out. So we'll take a look at how Beastie is doing on his side of the map. Looks like a little bit of a wall coming up for Beastie. So Beastie going to be dropping down walls on the south side of the map. Pretty smart move for him, preventing that sacred site from actually being taken. And I like that. I think that's a very smart move. At the same time, he should be able to wall up on the north side as well. But keep in mind, he's going to be playing up against Lash, who is on the Delhi. He's going to be looking to take those sacred sites sooner rather than later. Has been making scholars this entire time. He's got 3 sitting inside the mosque right now. He's also got 1 inside the stable. So he's looking at getting double production out on this stable. Now going to be going into a barracks. Also dropping down a house here. So beautiful macro coming out. I would expect that we would see a scholar heading out very, very shortly. He's only got 4 seconds before. So one of the things that you can do if you're playing as the Delhi is look to try and take these sacred sites right now. And you can see that like Beastie is just so on the money. He knows 7 minutes 40, that's when my enemy is going to have units on this sacred site potentially. I have to look to deny that as soon as possible. At the same time, we see the villager coming down here, walling in this sacred site, and obviously Beastie with control in the middle of the map, or at least control, quote unquote. You know, he's got units ready to go if he needs to. Now going to be coming up, and this is a beautiful play from Beastie, actually bringing the scout up to contest this sacred site as well. So already a little bit of a mistake coming out from Lash. Ideally, you want to get out onto the map as quickly as possible, try and gain control of those sacred sites, but we can see the number of units now beginning to build up for Lash. Beastie going to be trying to defend him off. You see those horsemen coming out, managing to make it through to the stealth forest. Going to be coming out. An outpost now going to be going down for Lash as well. Lash looking pretty strong. Villager going to be coming out here. We don't see any religious units at this stage making their way out. Still yet to see any scholars heading down towards that sacred site. He does have the ability, but still, yeah, we don't see any scholars whatsoever out on the map. So he's just looking to try and take it slow. Now, typically, as the Delhi, you need to be taking it relatively quickly to try and secure up these sacred sites, and he would be more than capable of doing that. And look at the numbers that are coming out right now from his opponent. So Lash with about 5 spears at the moment, really not going to be enough. We do see that scholar actually making its way out. He does actually have a scholar in the barracks, yet to get that hardened upgrade as well. But now sacred site going to be captured up towards the north. Delhi still yet to move up here. Sacred site still going to be held, and at the same time, a beautiful job by Beastie to wall in this sacred site down towards this south position. And looks like actual double walls. No, those are walls coming in from Lash, actually. So a little bit of a misplay there from Lash, taking his time to wall in that sacred site, and it's costing him now. So we also see a villager moving up towards the north and looking to wall up that crossing, but you really see the difference between these two players because Beastie is absolutely minutes ahead of him. Beastie had units up here 2 minutes ago. He had walls down here 3 minutes ago. He's been absolutely ahead of the curve. Now Beastie going to be looking at potentially getting up to that next stage. You can see he's managed to get the blacksmith techs in with the +1 attack. He's also got the +1 ranged defense coming through. So his horseman doing incredibly well. He's got 12 of these bad boys out already. No archery range yet for Beastie, I say. He does have the 2 barracks that are coming out now. Keep in mind, these guys are on the front line, so these can definitely look to be exploited. I would almost be a little bit concerned by these barracks and their positioning. Ideally, I would have loved to have them about down here, but now it looks like Beastie going to be under significant attack. Villager going to be careful. It's going to go down. A lot of horsemen in here, and do go down to that horseman. At the same time, Beastie actually going to be securing up this position. And now we see that the Scholar, unfortunately, not going to be able to get through. Spearman going to be down here as well. So there is action all over this map right now. A bit of a raid back in the base as well. Beastie finding multiple villagers on that stone mine. And at the same time, it looks like the gold mine villager is going to be going down. So we are going tit for tat in this game. And Lash is definitely trying his best to have a little bit of an early game victory here up against his Holy Roman Empire opponent. On the other side of the map, though, we'll tune back in with Beastie. We'll see what he's up to. He's carrying around that scout with the horsemen, making sure they've got plenty of line of sight as they continue to move around the map. You can see those reinforcements coming in. Beastie's going to be trying to pick those off, managing to get the double barracks up as well. We see the beautiful technology, or the beautiful special ability coming in for the Holy Roman Empire. Sacred Site getting neutralized in the middle as well. Beastie going to be pushing out towards this position, looking to neutralize that Sacred Site. Keep in mind the Scholar no longer here. Outpost has completely been completely left dry. And so now going to be turning his attention towards the houses instead because the emergency repair did come through. 32 seconds left on that bad boy. This is probably going to go down here, unfortunately. The Beastie playing very well at this point in time. Looking to try and get up to the next stage. He's lost control of his gold. Now, when it comes to his gold, obviously he's managed to secure up the Sacred Site in the middle of the map, but he's got 2 gold mines down towards the south of his base, and you can see where the army is now for the Delhi player as he comes in towards this wood line. He's got a scout in here somewhere because he's got so much line of sight. All the villagers from Beastie now going to be heading back towards that town center. He's in a bit of a difficult spot here. Villagers going to be heading inside, firing off at those horsemen, and you can just see the damage that comes out onto those horsemen. Just got to be so careful with those. They are very, very fragile. But now Beastie looking to try and make ends meet over on the other side as well, evening the mass up. He's got the spears out. Lash, trying to do his best. You can see Beastie actually going to be able to clean these bad boys up. So for once, Horseman actually getting a pretty decent trade in here. At the same time, up towards the Sacred Site, Scout going to be doing all it does well and just denying out this Sacred Site, neutralizing it before it even gets neutral. Or just, I guess, probably just keeps it neutral. I guess that's where neutralizing comes in from, you know, makes it neutral. Just look at these beautiful raids, though, coming in from Beastie. You can see why he's so high up on the ladder. Still under so much pressure in his base, but we see those raids coming out. Just APM out the wazoo. Going to be moving in onto the front lumber camp or the front wood line. He does evacuate the back wood line. You can see he's got the unit stuck behind here. And now Man-at-Arms going to begin coming out as well for Beastie. He does have that +1 ranged defense, so he's going to be okay. But Beastie yet to put up walls on the back of his base, so it looks like his enemy is going to be easily able to evacuate if he wants to. But now we can see the spears on the front line managing to get off a great block, stopping that horseman in its track. Beastie coming back out. Another raid going to be going down. It looks like we've got Compound of the Defender already coming down for Lash. So he's only taking control of that one Sacred Site for a short amount of time. And already we can see the true power that is coming out for him. Sitting on 39 villagers at the moment. Beastie on 31. He is very far behind. He's lost a huge amount of villagers. Lash miles ahead at this point in time. And I'm curious to see what Lash is going to be able to achieve with that Compound of the Defender. Because if you guys know anything about the Compound Defender, it is absolutely brutal to go up against. It's definitely one of those landmarks that started off slow. People didn't really understand why it existed or why it was in the game, but then quickly people worked out, well, hold on a minute, stone walls and towers are actually really, really good and very difficult to stop. So probably going to be seeing some of those with the Compound of the Defender. We could look at to be seeing some keep gameplay as well. I'm a big fan of the keep gameplay with their village fortresses. It's a great technology to pick up. But once again, we see a lot of these men-at-arms going to slowly be going down out on this western flank. Unfortunately, Beastie going to be having to walk back here. A lot of horsemen out here going to be able to poke him down. And he definitely walks back with his tail in between his legs. We'll check in on the base of Lash. We'll see how he's doing. He seems like he's got quite a bit going on here. You can see the Lancer already coming out. A lot of infrastructure already in here. 5 barracks already for him. He's captured up the Sacred Site in the middle. Still not working down towards this south sacred site. He could easily get some units up there. And this is just where it comes down to APM, not having the APM for it. And this is really what sets the difference between these two players when it comes to, you know, the top of the pops and when it comes to just being a great player. So obviously Lash, an incredibly good player, rank 150, nothing to sniff at whatsoever. The Beastie, on the other hand, just another level. And it really comes down to having that APM. So, you know, if you had more APM, what would you do? You would send just 1, 2, 3 spears up here, look to neutralize that sacred site. You'd also send up a scholar very shortly after and look to try and take it. At the same time, you'd have your spear down here that would be sieging through this wall, just being annoying. Look to try and take control of that sacred site, maybe send a couple more spears down in that direction. You can see the horseman now trying to struggle through getting through that wall, or getting through that that gap. Now, keep in mind, Beastie going to be going for those relics, so he is up to the next age now. We'll check and see where his prelates are at, where your prelates at, Beastie. It looks like he's still got one in that Archon Chapel. Regnitz Cathedral going down the back. Doesn't look like he's got too many other... too many prelates out at the moment. We'll have to see how he plays it, though. Could be looking to snag up some of the relics of his opponent. Lancers now coming out. These guys have got +1 at all levels. +1 attack, +1 defense on both variables. So very well played right there from Lash, getting all of his upgrades, really not forgetting about it. We'll check in with Lash. I'm curious to see how many blacksmiths he's got. It looks like he might just have one. Yeah, he's just got the one blacksmith, so getting all the upgrades, doing a great job of it as well. And now managing to chase away Beastie. We'll tune in with Beastie. We'll see how he's doing as he begins to send out men-at-arms towards this eastern flank. He's still got plenty of line of sight up towards the north. Nothing really happening here. A little bit of a battle in the middle of the map. The men-at-arms are now coming out for his opponent. And Beastie in a bit of a difficult spot. Still only the one prelate? No, he does have a second prelate now. So he's made 2 prelates. So that prelate's going to be looking to pick up some relics. Looks like a prelate might already be out here, actually, on this side. Now, keep in mind, the wall did actually get denied, so he could look to come up and take this relic, but we'll have to see how he plays it out. Lash going to continue chasing down his enemy at this point. Men-at-arms going to be looking to clean up the units that are out here. He's got to be careful. If these men-at-arms aren't careful, he's going to lose the option to take out this relic. This is one of the relics that's closer to Beastie's base, so ideally he wants to try and camp this, if at all possible. A little bit of a misplay there by Lash, and once again, it comes down to that APM. You know, just in this situation, there's so much going on around the map, and Lash trying his best just to focus on his game plan, and you can see that game plan is now beginning to unfold as he begins to put down a stone wall tower right out the front of Beastie's base. Is this a sign of things to come? Because Beastie is now under significant pressure. A lot of his barracks are now under immense pressure because any units that come out here are just going to get shot with this Springald emplacement, and that's really what makes it so difficult. Forces continuing to build right now for Lash on the front line. A lot of villagers collecting up that stone. He is also going for acid distillation, picking up the first and now going for that second tier Compound of the Defender, looking incredibly sharp right there. Gotta love the Compound of the Defender. Just such a lovely landmark. I love the way that it's gone from F tier up to S tier, the Compound of the Defender. Such a great landmark. And now we begin to see what is happening on the other side of the map. Lash really being very, very cheeky now. So what is it that Lash is doing, and why is it that it's so damn strong? So Compound of the Defender, as we watch this raid, by the way, Compound of the Defender reduces the cost of stone in some of your buildings. In fact, I think it's all of your buildings. So it also enables your infantry to build stone walls, to build those gates, to build towers, and that's really quite strong. Villagers, once again, going down, just raids everywhere on Lash's economy. So that includes your castles, your town centers. It also includes the stone walls and the stone wall towers. So it means where a normal player would have to pay a huge amount for these stone wall towers, you know, you're talking 200 stone, Lash is only paying 150. So he's able to make, you know, a quarter more. But it enables him to subsequently just really get these out onto the map early. And you can see Lash just stacking up the resources now, under attack from multiple angles. And a raid continues now. Beautiful job with the spears. Now, I don't think these guys have got their veteran status just yet. Probably still on the way in. Where have we got it? Veteran, still no veteran spears, actually. That could have been researched. A minute and 44 is all it takes, and now those knights looking incredibly strong. We continue to see walls coming up. The stone walls. Lash actually laming Beastie right now. This is looking incredible. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Lash starting to look very, very good on this front. A little bit of a stock take. 41 for Lash, 40 for Beastie. So when it comes to villager count, both players relatively even at this point in time. Now, keep in mind, Beastie's managed to secure up 2 of the relics. We saw him take in the first one. We saw him take in the second one. The third one is still up for grabs on this side of the map. There is It has been walled in. A couple of spears did move up into this position, so very smart from Lash to do that, but there is still an opening. If Beastie... Oh, my lord, he did it. He did it. Okay, I was going to say what Beastie wants to do is there is a beautiful pathway if he comes like that. He grabs that relic and then comes back down like that, and that's exactly what he did. Very smart moves from Beastie. We now hear an Age 4 coming out from Beastie. Oh, my lord, that was quick. Palace of Swabia already in now, so Beastie manages to hold on. He gets up now, and one of the things I always talk about with the Holy Roman Empire is this Exodia, this concept of Exodia. For anybody unfamiliar with Exodia, it is a card, or I guess a being, a mythical being that is in the game Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is a card game, and there's 5 pieces to Exodia, and if you can assemble all 5 pieces, you win the game. And essentially, I like to talk about Holy Roman Empire as having this Exodia. Those 3 pieces being the 3 legs of Exodia. So you've obviously got the left leg, the right leg, and the middle leg of Exodia, which we can't talk too much about because this is YouTube here, which are the 3 relics for the Regnitz Cathedral. We now see that 3rd leg coming in for Beastie QT. The 4th, the chess piece, it is the Palace of Swabia, which is going to enable him to just create villages out the wazoo. You can see them right there, all coming in at 12 food a villager. Also going to be only 5 seconds to build. And now we've got those upgrades coming in as well for Beastie. Probably going to be having elite upgrades coming through very shortly. Men at Arms still yet to be upgraded at this point, but 3 relics in that Regnitz is going to give him everything he needs to really put this game into overdrive. My main concern is he doesn't have a lot of space back here. Now looking to add in archery ranges on the back line. Ideally, I mean, for Beastie, I would just love to see him even try and just wall up over here and look to move out over onto that position. He doesn't have a lot of room here, and we continue to see Lash moving forward. Just so many towers. I mean, let's get a little picture of that. I want to just take a look and see exactly what we've got here, because this is absolutely beautiful. I mean, you've just got towers absolutely everywhere. Lash being disgusting with his tower. So really, really nice tower rushes there. Let's head back into the game, though. We've got more towers now coming down for Lash. Lash looking to continue his extension with these units. We'll have a look from his perspective and see how he's doing. He's managed to take one of the relics. You can see him sprinting over there. 2nd relic coming back as well. He's got 2 of the... Now, keep in mind, he has got 2 of the sacred sites. That's 400 gold a minute. Add in the 2 relics he's got. That's 600 gold a minute. He's going up against Beastie, who's got 900 gold a minute. If he can secure up the 3rd sacred site, then he's looking at 800 gold a minute, which is nothing to sniff at. Like, that's pretty darn good. But he's going to continue now applying pressure at the front. Bombard's going to be coming out exactly what Beastie needs in this situation. It's going to enable him to work down these walls extra fast. A lot of people will be thinking about trebuchets, but the truth is the Bombard is what you want. They've got a lot higher damage per second than the trebuchets, despite having a shorter range. But now Crossbow's going to be coming out. Don't see any elite upgrades just yet. It looks like he's going to have to be falling back in this position as his opponent Lash looks to be actually doing quite a decent job. We'll change it over to income per minute. Actually, we'll change it to military so you can see the difference between these two. Doesn't look like there's too much of a difference. We'll have a look at what upgrades we've got coming out for Beastie, or rather that's for Lash. Let's check in with Beastie. Still no elite upgrades at this point in time. You can see them all sitting in there, still yet to be upgraded at this point. So he's just going to be keeping his Castle Age units out. Just got the Bombards that are beginning to make way. He's going to have the 3rd Bombard out now. Sounds like he deleted something. Yeah, he's deleted this lumber camp. Wants to make a bit more space for himself here. Probably going to be adding in a couple more farms. He's right next to the Ark and Chapel, so it's going to make a lot of sense for him to have that extra room. But now we can see some trebuchets beginning to build up, as well as the horse. The elephant is now coming out as well, and you just really got to admire this play from Lash. He's doing incredibly well up against Beastie and really putting him into a difficult spot. Back behind this, we'll check in on the infrastructure of Lash, see how he's doing. Have a look at the upgrades that he's got. You can see he's got 14 buildings at the moment, or at least that's what it says. It's not really. It's actually about 8 that he's got. 5 barracks, 1 stable, 1 siege workshop. Have a look at the upgrades that he's got as well. He's managed to get everything in. He's doing a great job. Also got the market up already. Does he potentially look at doing some trading? It doesn't look like it. Looks like he's got some spare units just chilling out for the moment. But on the front line, it looks like he's going to continue coming in. Has the Tower War Elephant out. Springlord's out. Ideally, in this position, Lash is going to need to get up to the Imperial Age himself. He needs to get Roller Shutter triggers because he's not going to be able to trade efficiently with the Bombards. Bombards are going to be so incredibly efficient up against this military. But now Lash actually bringing out a healer, a scholar, onto the front lines here. And I'm kind of getting worried at this point for Beastie. Beastie not looking pretty. I mean, he's got the bombards that are out. He's got the third one that's about to pop out. He's slowly but steadily being whittled down here. You can see he's unfolding the bombards, just trying his best to micro them back. They don't have a minimum range, so he's going to be able to continue fighting off. And you can see the Springles on the back line actually managing to take out the first of the bombards. 2 bombards now remain. It looks like the third one or the second one going to go down. Springle does go down, and now Beastie going to be turning his attention towards that war elephant, which is doing its best to try and take it out. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to be able to do it because Beastie's got a lot of heals underneath that. But at the same time, I mean, let's do a quick stock take. 48 villagers for Lash. Beastie sitting on 63. He is absolutely zooming up at this point in time. Big heals coming out for him. No idle villagers at the moment. Just a lot of villagers on stone. He's going to be looking to drop down keeps, castles, stone walls, all that good stuff. Maybe even just do a bit of market trading. I wouldn't be surprised. A lot of gold in the bank for him, though, sitting on about 1,000 gold, 1,000 food. Main town center actually going to be going down here. I don't think he needs to be too concerned about it. He's still got 4 town centers in the back. Keep in mind, this Palace of Swabia acts as 4 town centers, so he doesn't need to be worried about losing that first one. And now actually going to be doing the emergency heal. Big brain play coming out from Beastie. No surprise there. A lot of Bs in that sentence, a lot of beasties in that sentence. And we see, look at the prelates coming out. He's just looking to heal up all of these units. I suspect that that's what he's going to be going for. Interestingly, the Palace of Swabia only makes villages faster. It doesn't make anything else faster. So just going to be coming out of the main town center. And Beastie under continued attack, continued pressure. Lash yet to go up to the car, or up to the Imperial Age. We don't actually see him making a move. I'm really surprised not to see Lash actually coming down towards his sacred site. He's got the first of the sacred sites. He's got the second of the sacred sites. He could very easily be coming down to the third of the sacred sites, and he could have been ticking this entire time. Can you imagine right now if we had 3 gongs going off and Beastie's sitting in a base like this? He would be in a terrible position right now. It would have been game. So this is really when it comes down to having a lack of APM in this situation can really be the difference between life and death, because Beastie continues to hold on. I think we saw a bombard go down. Springle's on the back line just teeing off, trying to fight out. You can see those villagers. In fact, there's only just a handful of villagers in there repairing. I was trying to say rehealing. Repairing and healing at the same time. Town center is going to slowly but steadily come back up. You can see there's trebuchets behind there that are shelling it, but doing a great job of managing to keep that town center alive at this stage in the game. So very well played to Beastie as he does repel this attack once again. We now see the cannon emplacement going to be coming down, and beautiful job in stopping this push. I mean, this is an absolutely disgusting push, but we are absolutely seeing Beastie get pushed to the limit right now. Beastie, a top 5 player. He's already going through to N4C. He'll be in Berlin, and he is going up against Lash, who's playing the Delhi and playing it incredibly well, really pushing Beastie to his limits at this point. Now, Lash, at the same time, continuing behind this. We'll take a look and see exactly what he's up to, whether he's expanding. What he's doing is adding more military in. He's trying to put the nail in the coffin of his enemy, adding in another trebuchet, it seems. A lot of resources in the bank. Still not really thinking about Imperial Age at this point, not thinking about adding in any more town centers at this point. He's sitting on 52 villages. 71 now for Beastie, so a 20 villager lead. That's going to continue to grow as the Palace of Swabia, rather, the Palace of Swabia actually keeps making villagers. It can be difficult to remember to train those bad boys up, but ideally you just want to have 10 villagers in there non-stop because they're so damn cheap. It's only 120 food. It takes 5 seconds for each one to pop out, so you're only talking about 50 seconds, so it's absolutely, yeah, nothing to worry about. A lot of idle villagers here for him, though. You can see them just rally to this point now, stacking up a whole bunch of villagers. He really just needs, at this point, more infrastructure. He's really struggling with the lack of infrastructure, though. Now going to be trying to add in more barracks. A lot of people in this position would probably be tempted to tap out, but Beastie realizes at this point that he is in an okay position. He's managed to assemble the 4 pieces of Exodia. Can he be winning this game? Because, you know, if I was going to be honest with you guys, I would say if a person has got the 4 pieces of Exodia, they would win 98% of the time. Really, and I'm 100% honest with you. 98% of the time, I feel like a Holy Roman Empire player is going to win that game if they've managed to get all 3 of their relics and get the Palace of Swabia up. And I guess there's a little bit of a caveat in there, and that's, you know, not being overwhelmed completely by their enemy at that point in time. Because you could have 3 relics and you could have your Palace of Swabia up, but if you've got 87 units in your base, well, it doesn't really matter, does it? Beastie now resorting to coming to the middle and looking to clear out the central tree line that is here. Also looking to expand out towards this stone mine. A little bit of an interesting running mechanic right there. Beastie continuing to lose villagers up on this stone mine. But he had only just gotten out here as well. And now another keep coming up for Beastie. And you can see he's really looking to play all over the map here. Still got this wall up. This sacred site still very safe down on this position. I really think that his opponent may have forgotten about it. So Lash, if I do need to remind you, it is 3 sacred sites on this map, my friend. Unfortunately, you're going to need to try and contest that sacred site. Not only is it going to give you 200 gold a minute, it's also going to give you the chance to win the game through a sacred site victory. I mean, you've done a great job at just holding off on the front here. You can see Beastie doing a great job of actually taking out the stone wall towers. He's identified all the stone wall towers. He's taken them out, and yet still you see those stone walls standing. So Beastie really just identifying what the threat is, taking out those stone wall towers. You can see it just firing down upon these stables. The Bombard's going to have no problem there in taking it out. All of those stone wall towers do eventually go down. Lash looking like he might be getting pushed back a little bit. We'll head in and check the score at the moment. You can see Beastie ahead by about 1,000 points, but keep in mind, at this point in the game, ideally, it's really not a big deal, just primarily because Beastie's up in the next stage, and a lot of those Springalds now coming out. Beastie going to be careful. He loses his Bombard. Second one might be going down any second now. There she goes. That's all she wrote for the Bombard. And Beastie loses both of his Bombards. Now, keep in mind, he's managed to deal with the majority of the structures that were creating issues for him. But at the same time, Lash rather, has a big mass here. A huge mass, rather. He's got 25 Bombards. No Mangonels for Beastie at this point in time. Does obviously have the Bombard. Let's take a look and see whether he's decided to go into Mangonels or whether he's just going to be looking to go in towards that Men-at-Arm tech. A lot of villagers out here. A huge amount of villagers on this side of the map. He continues to migrate up towards this position. Dropping down a keep in the middle of the map, looking to secure up wood. Obviously, wood is the main concern. He's got another stone wall going to be coming in here for Lash. He is absolutely lashing Beastie right now. We'll check in with Lash and see what he's got going on his side of the map. A quick stock take reveals that he's got 60 villagers, 108 military population at the moment. It is a huge number. Keep in mind there's scholars involved in that, and there's a lot of scholars. Oh my god, look how fast they're healing that up. Oh my god, look how fast they're healing that up. Did you guys see that? God damn, that went quickly. I know I shouldn't swear like that. I know there's a lot of faithful Catholics and Christians on the channel that really get offended when I swear like that. So apologies to you guys, because I know it means a lot to you that I'm a very... Do you see that damage? Oh, that was a Mangonel. I thought that was the Trebuchet. I got really concerned there. I was like, that was a lot of damage from that Trebuchet. Holy moly. They're now pushing out. Look at the Prelates coming out on the front line with their coats. You know, they say that these guys, they're quite weak, but it turns out with their coats, they're actually quite... I mean, they're still pretty weak. They got absolutely shredded, but they look cool. I like the coats. Not all heroes wear capes. There's just so many religious units out here. Beautiful boulders being thrown at that town center. Still yet to come down here for Lash. And still yet to go up to Imperial. Very interesting for Lash not to go to Imperial here. Beastie going to be cancelling off that keep in the middle of the map. Where did the villagers go? I suspect they probably just come over towards this angle. And we once again... Hey, watch out, man. I'm the cameraman. I'm just telling the story. You don't need to hit me like that. Villagers now moving out towards the Trebuchet, and Lash actually going to respond to that. Sees the villagers with his outposts, and now going to be looking to try and bring out some units. And you can see the villagers going to be just committing to that Trebuchet. He's really chasing it down. It looks like there's 20 damage a pop that comes out on that. So villagers going to be coming out to repair. You can see how fast they're going to be going through that, and unfortunately it looks like those ones get thrown away. At the same time, the base of Beastie is in absolute smithereens. He has been blasted to Bombard bits, baby. But he's got more Bombards back here, so he's ready to push. Elite Men-at-Arms has actually come out now, and we are beginning to see these upgrades assemble. No heavy maces, no riveted chainmail at this point. No two-handed weapons just yet for Beastie. But obviously the elite upgrade is exactly what he needs at this point. I love the fact that he's on his enemy side of the map. He's looking to take control of the wood lines that are out here. And now we begin to see him move up towards this position, actually dropping a keep down on the sacred site. And I hear an age up potentially in queue for Lash. Indeed, it does look like we've got an age up that's going to be coming through for Lash now. So where is it going to go down? Is he going to be looking to do it? Let's take a look and see. Lumber Camp going to be going down here. Still not yet. I think he's just sort of hovering over that. Finally, we actually see Beastie looking to take this sacred site. So Lash making a big error there and not taking that sacred site sooner. He could have been through. He could have broken through this wall. He could have taken down this one. He could have stonewalled this side, and he could have taken this sacred site for himself. Instead, not going to be the option today. Now Lash Still yet to go up to the Imperial Age, even though he's got the resources to multiple times, just really focusing on queuing up those queuing up those units. You can see how many he's got in the queue as well. Just so many units. Sacred Site being captured up now. Beastie capturing that one up towards the north. Also going to be taking that one out as the unfortunate Scholar does go down, and slowly but steadily it gets neutralized. So going to be losing that gold trickle, and this is where we really start to see the skill of Beastie. This is where you start to see the multitasking coming out. He's absolutely all over the map. He's multitasking like a madman. And still, I think that Lash is somewhat anchoring to this idea of playing Age 3 and finishing his enemy off in Age 3. Beastie now up to 106 villagers, despite losing dozens and dozens of villagers. 70 villagers at the moment for Lash. He's at max population, so I wouldn't be surprised if we do see that age up eventually come through for him. No Sacred Site victory really possible at the moment. He's lost control of that northern Sacred Site. Beastie did manage to get behind the enemy lines. He's now beginning to wall it up as well. We can see the walls coming up on both sides. He's also walling up towards the north as well. He is absolutely setting himself up for success here. Lash still yet to age up. What is going on, Lash? You are not in the Imperial Age, my friend. You're going to have to drop down that landmark eventually. He's trying. It's still not going up. Jeez, what is this guy doing? Lash, come on, man. Come on, you get it together, son. Get it together. You can do it. I believe. I like to believe that I believe. But Lash actually coming back towards his base. Such a big military for him as well. Look at the numbers that are coming out for Lash right here. We're talking about 43 crossbows here. We're talking about 21 men-at-arms. He's got a huge mass of springalds, elephants in the mix, lancers. I think we've got a couple spears in there as well. Trebuchets on the front line looking to take down those keeps. And this is, I mean, realistically at this point, I feel like he should have gone for the throat. Beastie's got a lot of units back here, though. A lot of hand cannoneers on the back line. He's got the men-at-arms on the front line. Only 35 damage on this bad boy, so I'm going to just quickly check and see. We do have the University. He does actually have the upgrades for the melee infantry. Yet to get that chemistry upgrade. We see it right there. It does increase the damage of the hand cannoneer by 20%. Look at the Scholars, how many Scholars he's got out. He's careful, though. You got to watch out for any potential mangonels here. And now Beastie got to be pushing out of his base. Speaking of mangonels, you saw that shot coming in from over the right of your screen. He's looking to neutralize this Sacred Site in the middle. You've got to be careful. We see that force really coming out right now from Lash. Why is Lash not going to Imperial? What are you doing, Lash? He really just doesn't care about Imperial. Oh, you know what it might be? He doesn't want to go to Imperial because he knows that it's going to take like 15 minutes to get the upgrades. So he's just not bothering. He's just keeping all of his resources. He's going to play it out in the Castle Age. We now begin to enter what appears to be a huge fight. Force March coming in, absolutely massive stuff as we enter into the full screen battle. Getting in on top of all of these units right now. Look at the way he's managing to... Oh my lord, apologies. That was a little bit of a file transfer that just popped up. But now we've got ourselves a bit of a battle unfolding. I didn't expect that file transfer to pop up like that. I do apologize. Bombard going to be going down. Second Bombard going to be going down. All the Bombards going down with the exception of one, which is probably pretty close to going down. And I don't think a single sprinkled shot actually got off. Two more Bombards in the back, or rather one Bombard in the back. And it looks like the push was quite successful, managing to take out those Bombards. But really, you got to ask the question, when is he going to Imperial? Is he even going to go to Imperial? And I feel like if there was a post-game interview, I would be asking the question, why aren't you going to Imperial? What is it about Imperial that you don't want to do? It is almost like a no Imperial strategy. It's like a fast wall into Castle, but just forgetting about Imperial. I mean, there's a lot to gain from Imperial, but at the same time, as the Delhi Sultanate, maybe you just don't want to bother investing into it. Mangonel now coming off, firing off on a few of these villages that come out, look to try and siege down this trebuchet. We see a whole bunch more villagers going to be looking to repair that up, and they do a great job. Lash currently sitting on 72 villagers at the moment. On the other side of the map, we've got 102 villagers still for Beastie. He is training lots of villagers. He does manage to gain control of this wood line. He's going to begin looking to take advantage of that as well. Now, on the other side of the map, you can see that his enemy Lash is working towards this last little bit of wood that he's got. There is wood out towards the middle here, but unfortunately, there's not a lot. Beastie actually going to be securing it up with the second keep. He lost the first one. Second one still alive at this point in time, but it is getting trebbed down ever so slowly. But we'll take a look now at the south of the map. As you can see, there are units beginning to move out. Those men-at-arms have got their mace upgrades. They've got plenty of health on these bad boys. And look at the Force March, just so good. Beautiful body blocks coming out. One of the routine things that we are seeing now, players looking to abuse that body block, and very well played right there. The more Stonewall Towers coming up inside the base of Beastie. We'll do a quick score check. I'm curious to see where these guys are at. You got Lash, who's down by about 3k, but I honestly feel like Lash is one fight away from victory. I genuinely feel that. I know that Beastie's got the Imperial units, he's got the Bombards, he's got the Elite Men-at-Arms, he's got the Hand Cannoneers that are out, but at the same time, it's not like he's got a lot of infrastructure. I mean, he's got 14. I mean, you take away the 2 monasteries, so he's got 12. Ideally from Beastie, what I would love to see is like 14 barracks. 14 barracks or like 16 archery ranges just to get those hand cannoneers out. That's really what I would love to see, just to guarantee that he's not going to lose this game, because genuinely I believe that we could see you know what, just Lash also missing a huge amount of... What is Lash doing? Is Lash AFK? Hold on, we got to check. Is Lash AFK? He's not AFK. Look at him go. Lash is not AFK. He's like, he's up here. He's doing his thing. He's just not going Imperial, just doesn't care about it, not dropping down any more infrastructure, just hanging out in the middle of the map. I think Lash what is Lash up to? Now finally going to Imperial. Jeez Louise, what is this guy doing? I wish I could sit down with Lash. Lash, I'm going to be real with you, okay? Lash, I'm calling you out, mate. If you've got a YouTube account, I want you to leave a comment on this video. I want you to let me know what your thought process was behind this game. I'm very, very curious to know exactly what it was when it came to, you know, part of the reason why you didn't look to go to Imperial sooner. You definitely had a couple of windows. I think about the 22, 23 minute window, you had pushed in, you'd done a lot of damage. You were losing on the front line. There were Bombards that were out, but you did keep your head above water. You had the window to go Imperial. You didn't. So I think that's my #1 question, really. So if you could explain that, that would be great. But we'll check in on Beastie. We'll see how he's doing. He's now starting to stack up a lot of resources. You can see 81 villagers on wood at the moment. He's got them all over the map. Looks like a monastery up towards the north to literally get that prelate out there to capture the sacred site. And now looking to clean up out on these western flanks. And you can see he's actually looking to take control of this gold mine. But now it looks like we've got ourselves a bit of a battle beginning to unfold. We'll head into the cinematic mode as players now look to try their best to secure victory. Beastie going to be trying to defend with all that he's got. And Imperial has been reached right now for his opponent. That was what that sound was. I thought someone had tapped out, but it does look like Lash going to be going up to the Imperial Age. So we'll check in with him. We'll see how he's doing. I want to have a look at the upgrades that he's got. Yeah, here you go. This is probably why he was delaying his upgrades. Now, keep in mind, a lot of people are going to be looking at this and being saying, that's crazy. You know, it literally takes, for him to get his Imperial upgrades, 10 minutes. That's true. But he's only got 3 garrisoned Delhi scholars. Your university can have up to 20 scholars. And if we take a look right now on the front line, for scholars, you have got 6 scholars that are out here. So by no means, I mean, it's hard, definitely, it's hard. It's so hard. But at the same time, you could 100% reduce the time down on these because those scholars can jump in the university and you can get all of your upgrades, bang them out real quickly, and then get straight back to it. Lash now going to be defending. A lot of Culverin coming out for Beastie. A huge siege mass beginning to build. Well, I'm feeling that we might enter into a cinematic mode very, very shortly and begin to watch as these players do begin to battle it out. The 3 Mangonels sitting back, ready to go. And now we see Lash going to be pushing up. We'll enter into the cinematic mode as we prepare to witness this great battle that begins to unfold. Mangonels, the Mangonels, the Mangonels, the Mangonels! Manage only get to 1 shot off, and it's on the lumber camp. Mangonels continuing to move forward. Mangonels, wake up. I think the drivers have fallen asleep at the wheel as they continue to try and push forward. Culverin doing a great job of taking out the Springalds there. And now you can see the Bombards, and this is really the composition that's so difficult to beat. This is the Holy Roman Empire dream late game composition here. Absolutely beautiful stuff coming out here from Beastie Cutie. You can see he's got that wonderful comp. He's got the Culverin, he's got the Bombards, he's got the Mangonels ready to go, and he's able to defend against this. Now finally looks like we've got some Bombards going to be coming out from his opponent as this push continues to move forward. Infrastructure finally getting added in for Beastie. Great to see it as well. Culverin's getting their shots off. Bombards getting their shots off. Beastie with the higher ground here. Mangonels on the back line did all get repaired up, and now it looks like he's going to be coming in. Mangonels may potentially unfold here if he's not careful. We're going to continue moving around and getting into a better position. And Mangonels now, you watch him on the back line. The first shot going off, landing on the masses, and oh, terrible, terrible damage as it comes down, and Bombard sneaking through. I don't know how that Bombard got through that spot. Culverins do turn their attention towards it, though. We're going to continue watching the Mangonels as another shot comes in. Huge damage coming out, and just really the difference in this fight is those Mangonels. The siege, it is all about siege. Ladies and gentlemen, I remember seeing a Twitch chat comment not too long ago. It said, Age of Siege, and I can't agree more. Right now, Age of Siege is definitely the way this game seems to be played. When it gets to the late stages, it's all about mangonels, it's all about culverin, all about those bombards, and you're able to control your enemy's siege, you're able to control, or you're able to have superiority with regard to the siege, and subsequently take control of the game. We'll now head back in and check where these players are at with regard to their scores. You can see Beastie ahead by about 5k. When it comes to income, you can see that he is ahead in absolutely every aspect here, with the exception of the stone. But who cares about stone? Pushing down now towards the tower. I mean, the Mongols care about stone, don't they? But a little bit of a multi-pronged attack coming in, or at least Beastie trying to drive that attention. Villagers now coming in along the wall here. You got to be careful. Villagers do. Oh, and that's why you have mangonels, ladies and gentlemen. That is why you have mangonels. Beastie looking incredibly strong, though. You can see the forces now of Lash have just completely been evaporated. We take a look back at Lash's base. He's actually dropped down to... Okay, all right. I like it. Lash, yes, this is exactly right. 11 archery ranges. Good job. I will give you credit where credit is due. You have made a lot of archery ranges. I support this. Main concern, not a lot of gold in the bank. You've lost those sacred sites. You haven't been able to hold them. Beastie actually sits on 2 out of the 3 now. The third one is neutralized. And, I mean, at this point in time, you are just kind of in a bit of a difficult spot here. It was a beautiful strategy the way it opened up with these walls. We continue to see that the remnants of them are back in the base of Beastie. And he is having a tough time now, beginning to push out, looking to secure up the center. And Beastie just, what a methodical play style. I mean, if I think of Viper, I think of greedy. If I think of Beastie, I'm thinking of methodical. It is really methodical. It is playing to his strengths, never overextending, never overplaying his hand, always making sure he's just teetering on the edge, making sure. And when it comes to like Marine Lord, it's consistency. When it comes to Vortex, I'm thinking creativity. But when it comes to Beastie, it is just methodical play style. And that is exactly what we're witnessing here as the slow push up, the mangonels, the culverin, the bombards here, just cleaning out the stone walls here, slowly but steadily moving up. Mass beginning to build right now. Beastie, got to be careful. There are more units out on this side, but it's not looking pretty right now. I mean, we do a quick stock take 200, and it looks like good game gets called. Beastie QT victorious. He manages to overcome one of the most toxic wall strategies that we've seen in this game to date. Remnants of that Chinese wall strategy that we did see quite a few weeks ago, almost a few months ago, I would probably say. A 45-minute game for you guys. If you've made it through to the end of the video, make sure you check out Beastie, and most importantly, make sure you check out N4C. There's going to be games non-stop in the early stages of March. I think up until the 14th of March, we're going to have plenty of games for you guys. So make sure you check it out. Link in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.